Hello and welcome back to another flute tip of the week. This week was really lovely. On Wednesday it was a very busy performance day with my good friend and partner in musical crime, Cassandra Matthews. We did a lunchtime recital and then we performed as part of the International Women's Day celebrations at the Royal College of Music. The whole program for the concert was based around the guitar, and so it was a really great chance to be able to go as a flute and guitar duo and do something new. And it was a very strange experience going back to the RCM after so many years. The last time I was there, I was a student and I was still about to embark on more studies. And now I went back as a performer, as a professional freelance musician. It was a strangely cathartic experience, as well as very confusing because they changed a lot of what's going on inside the building. Anyway, because I was quite judicious with the way I was practicing this week, I'm actually able to give demonstrations. So let's jump into this exercise for your daily practice for repertoire. Write out small cells consisting of parts in the repertoire you're working on that you find difficult and integrate them into your daily technical practice. Now, this is slightly different from practicing rhythms. Instead, what this is basically variations on different intervals that might be tripping you up, and adding these to your daily technical practice along with your scales and arpeggios. So that in addition to practicing the scales that apply to the piece, you can practice these combinations of intervals so that when you come across them in the piece, it's suddenly a lot easier. For the demonstration today, I'm going to be showing you the first couple of lines of music from the 6th movement of Bartók's Románice Voktanza. Since it's one of the pieces that I did with my guitarist on Wednesday, I thought it would be quite nice to add that into the video. So the first line of this movement can be quite bumbly. This is what this first line sounds like. So a lot of that is going between A to F sharp, G sharp to F sharp, back to A, and then after that doing a lot of swapping around the D and B and C sharp. So when you're first learning it, this could be essentially a little minefield of interval difficulties. The first cell for working between the A to the F sharp looks like this. And I include variations on the rhythm so that not only is it enforcing your technical ability, but it also allows you to get a better feel for the pulse underneath. So that first cell sounds like this. Now I want to start integrating that G sharp. So the second cell sounds like this. Now I want to get a little bit more in depth with the G sharp to F sharp interval. So the next cell is this. And now I want to essentially play the first 2 bars. So I am going to have all 3 notes in there. Now I want to start working on the small section of semiquavers where it's partially a scale in A major, but it skips the E, and so you have the F sharp to D interval. Now that makes more sense, I'm going to do the last cell for those first few bars. And altogether, that builds up to those first 4 bars. Now we want to look at the last few bars of the first section because that is where we get a little fiddly around D and B. It's the same rhythm as the first 4 bars, just in a little bit more of an awkward place. So let's hear the first cell. As you can tell, I make sure not to always have the exact same rhythm for both beats of the cell. Now we want to start integrating the next C sharp. So I'm going to play just the last 2 cells. I'm going to do each one just twice. And altogether, that builds up to the first line. Another benefit to working like this in small cells is it allows you the time to study the score itself and figure out what the format is. Because as you're writing these cells, you realize, wait a second, that's just a B minor arpeggio. or this is a scale in thirds. And while that might seem a little bit simplistic, when you're working on repertoire, sometimes it is easy to lose track of exactly what you're playing because you're focusing so much on being able to get the notes fluidly, hearing the articulation, the dynamics in the right places, and also just trying to get a feel for what the music's trying to say. But it's going to be impossible to say exactly what you need to with this music if you're not doing the section work that is necessary. I'm still a firm believer in the use of doing the rhythms to be able to get through sections, but I think writing cells is a way to enhance that practice, as well as a way to get a better understanding of the format of the piece. It might also shed light on which scales you need to practice more. So again, that tip was write out small cells consisting of the parts and repertoire you're working on you find difficult, and integrate them into your daily technical practice. I hope you find this week's tip helpful. I find that when you do this at the starter stages of learning a new piece, then it all just comes out a lot easier. So try integrating this into your practice and let me know how you get on with it. See you all next week. Flute happy and cell happy. I wanted to introduce you all to someone that I built a few years ago. This is my karate bear. I call him Bear Norris.